So I saw this being circulated on Facebook a while ago, and I was kind of hoping that this was just a poorly thought out idea, basically, that they were passing around. But it was to suggest that vaccine discrimination is racism in disguise. The majority of the unvaccinated people are people of color. Stand against this discrimination. And it says, it just has like this extremely sad black woman saying, I wasn't allowed to buy groceries today. So this whole situation kind of presents to me a big question mark of, okay, so how is this supposed to work? Basically, are you suggesting then that because most black people are not vaccinated, that they shouldn't have to be? That we should just, relax the mask mandates and vaccine mandates just for black people because of this? And the reason that this is a problem is that you guys keep reporting that the virus is actually more dangerous to black people. And there is some statistics to back this up. The CDC has been reporting for some time that black people are disproportionately dying from COVID in all age groups. So I guess it doesn't make any sense to me. Help me out here. Exactly what is it that you want? You want mask mandates and, vaccine mandates not to apply to you, but you guys are the ones who are in the most danger of dying of the virus. So this, again, just puts me in a scenario where I'm like, Black Lives Matter continues to do things that kind of subtly suggest that maybe Black lives don't matter. That's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. Help me out here. What is the solution that you're proposing to this problem? Let's take a look here, for example, just in case people think that I'm mischaracterizing it, at some more of the footage of the Black Lives Matter protest outside the Carmine's restaurant, where they assaulted a hostess because she demanded that they have, basically follow the mandates for vaccine cards that are required for people to eat in restaurants in New York.
Because the stats show that 72% of black people in this city from ages 18 to 44 are unvaccinated. So what is going to stop the Gestapo, the NYPD? What is going to stop them from rounding up black folks? What's going to stop them from snatching black people off the train? Snatching black people off the bus? What is going to stop them from doing this? We are. We stand at the vanguard. We're putting the city on notice. Your mandate will not be another racist social distance practice. Black folk are not going to stand by, or you will see another uprising. And that is not a threat, that is a promise.
So for those of you who have not followed Black Lives Matter rhetoric, uprisings translates to riots. They like to reframe the riots and the looting and the burning and the destruction as uprisings, because then it sounds more noble or heroic, despite the fact that it only destroys their own communities, increases poverty in those communities, and prevents those communities from financially growing for multiple years, as I've already been over multiple times, which is another one of the reasons why I said that in some cases it just seems like Black Lives Matter doesn't really consider the implications of what it is that they are doing so far as how it would actually impact black lives, which is why this idea of being anti-vax or anti-mask mandate or whatever, from their perspective, considering, again, that they are dying more from the virus than anybody else, it just doesn't make any sense. So let's be clear in exactly what it is that she's implying. Black Lives Matter in New York says that it's not a threat, it's a promise. They will riot if mask and vaccine mandates continue to apply to people of color. This is the danger that I mentioned in different videos that I've done, is that it just seems to become the new trend that anytime the government or and really anybody else does anything that they don't like, they reserve the right to destroy their own communities, which, as I've also already pointed out, does damage to and creates more poverty in their own communities.
Because it is our job to defend liberty, and that is what we are here to do.
I want to say that we have not forgotten that in the height of this pandemic, the NYPD used the mask mandate as a reason to enforce racist policies. Once again, what we are seeing here is the NYPD and restaurants using vaccination cards as a reason to discriminate against Black people. And what we are here today to say is that we are serving notice on the mayor.
Right on.
We are serving notice on the governor. We are serving notice on the restaurant industry.
Right on, Kim.
That we will not sit by and allow for you to use this pandemic, for you to use vaccination cards, for you to use masks as another reason to be racist, to throw us in prison.
All right, so again, let's recap. Black Lives Matter does not want mask or vaccine mandates, apparently, I mean, they didn't really give another solution, to apply to people of color, because they feel that it's going to be a backdoor way to prevent Black people from going into restaurants and going into businesses or whatever. They frequently do speak out about how the virus is more dangerous to people of color, but they want to be able to reserve the right to not actually take any precautionary measures that would make this less deadly to their people. So the solution is to threaten to once again destroy their own communities if we don't let them go without masks and go without vaccines. And again, they're dying at a higher rate than anybody else from this virus. This is just completely, totally, rationally unsound. And brief side note, I wonder what Antifa is going to do with this, because Antifa has been attacking right-wing anti-maskers, and anti-vaccine mandate people like this whole time. I'm curious exactly how they're going to rationalize this. I imagine they'll just kind of point blank ignore it when Black Lives Matter does this. But this is not even discussing whether or not Black Lives Matter so far as police shootings or any of the other contentious points. There is clear science that shows that more Black people are dying at the hands of the virus than anybody else. So the solution is not to force Black people to wear masks or get or be subject to vaccine mandates. Explain to me how this works, please. Thank you. Folks, do me a favor and share this video on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere that you see people making these arguments. Because I really, really want an answer to this. I really want them to try to explain to me how this works. And I seriously, it doesn't make any sense at all. It was one of the most internally inconsistent things I've ever seen Black Lives Matter do in their entire history. And also, thank you guys for tuning in. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. You can check out the link for that. That'll be in the description. And subscribe, ring the bell, share, etc. Thanks again for tuning into V Radio.